Um, we're talking about depression, Brother Fahad. And my sister is talking about teenagers also being affected with it. Is there
Yes.
a situation where we can look at depression as something as genetical?
Uh, in my experience, no, but I think that the situation which is coming from home is very common to teenagers or to youth to have depression. For example, if you have a family that, if I'm going to speak in terms like for us foreigners moving to
Mm-hmm,
another country, you have two
mm-hmm,
parents, maybe they have some opportunity to leave Uganda and then come here to Sweden, and they have so many relatives, and they have so many people that look up, they have to take care of financially, economically, and also maybe most of the parents that moved here, they maybe had very well educated jobs. They come into another country and they don't get that opportunity. Maybe they're looking for jobs, and all those things can affect children when they see the parents that maybe the parents even have a depression, but because of we don't speak about it in our culture, it's very stigmatized, and you as a parent you have to only carry on, and you put the burden on that one to the children, so the children
oh,
grow
yeah.
in a hostile home, and then it could affect them because most of us growing up here, we lived in an area that we had people from maybe every countries in the world, and those countries were third world countries, and you see that the parents are struggling, and us children are also struggling. We see
Mm-hmm.
affection on the parents, and we start to develop depression in the young ages, and they made a study. I can read, and I'm sorry, but I can't say exactly why I saw it. But they say that a child between around 2 years old up to 12 years old,
Yeah,
everything
yeah,
that
yeah.
happens in the home, the children start to process in it like it's their own fault. So if you hear the parents say, "Oh, we have it so bad. I moved here because of you. You have to make a bright future." All those things, it affects the children to be as good in school, and the pressure that parents can put on the children can lead up to develop some depression. So yes,
So
I don't
basically,
think
it's not genetical, but it can be transferred. The
yeah,
pressure can be transferred to the next generation.
yes, the pressure, and even just to hear arguments between parents or between adults as a children, it can affect you in the small ways. But if it happen on daily basis, and then you
Mm-hmm,
start
mm-hmm,
to develop that, you transfer that. I don't think it's genetical, not in my experience, and
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
the situation I've been working with the youth. I don't think it's genetical, but it transfers, of course.
Yes. Are you working with the youth? How do you see parents' involvement, or is there any other avenues through which um, society has tried to chip in to help the youth in case they find, oh, it's a government also responsibility?
Yes, as in Sweden, society try to. We have the children's book. I think it's the children's psychological treatment. We have all that. But the most important thing is that if you have, as a parent, if you have a children that you see that show signs of depression, you have to be involved. You have to be there as a parent. Many parents, they don't believe in the depression. They don't believe that the youth have depression. They compare with the youth in maybe in Uganda. They say, "But
Oh, yeah, yeah.
you have everything here. Why should you be depressed? Why should you feel it?" So it's very important that the parents are trying to help their children together with society, not just leave the children up to the society.
Um, a little bit, because you're talking about our parents, almost pushing it now to to the teenagers. We have everything. Everything is available.
Yes.
Just take me through some little stages. We're talking about something connected to depression. What could lead us into that? Are there certain levels through which one can be totally deep into depression? And what might be the signs to tell that one is really depressed? Let me say it again. What would be what will be the stages that can lead that one can really identify someone that actually so and so Fahad is really depressed? How can we self-check ourselves that
Yeah,
actually we
I
are
think
depressed?
the point that Rizik made earlier, when you see that people stop doing all normal, ordinary things that are good for them. If you have a friend or a relative, you see that they're starting to the daily basis routines that they're starting to. They don't take care of their personal hygiene. They don't sleep well. They don't eat well. Also,
Mhm.
if they are stressed, that's the early stages. You can see that maybe something is not really right in that area. So we have to try to speak with them, to talk to them, to actually ask them, how are you? How is life? Not because in ordinary life, you don't never hear people say, if I meet a new
Mhm.
people, I meet a friend, how are you? Always you say fine. You can never hear people if you're a colleague or a relative, you call them and you say, how are you? And they say, no, life is not good. That's very not so common in society, but you have to take your time and actually listen to them. What are they going through? Because you can see those signs. If they start to distance themselves to you or something, then normally something is not really right. And you have to, as a person, as a friend or as a relative, you have to start to engage in their person's life to see what is wrong and how can I be supportive to what you're going through.
That's really so interesting. Um, Basically, I want we know depression. Like I said, it's very hard to identify someone. For some reasons, certain people tend to hide, and then you cannot tell because they tend to backfire. I've been running through some social media posts, and then I happened to pick one of them, and from one sister from Finland. She's called Sami and Samantha. I think she's from Finland, and she says we often blame other others, not knowing what they're going through. That's from social media. And then we have one called uh, one gentleman called Ibubo Praise. He says, people are silently dying of depression, but they can't tell nobody for the fear of gossiping about them instead of helping them.